Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get started here. As I've been talking about for a little while, Bitcoin had a bullish divergence, a hidden bullish divergence, and it looks like it started to play out. This was on the 1-day and on a 3-day time frame, and it had a acceptance back into a volume range. So after this divergence confirmed here, it has broken above a flip zone. So really, if you haven't seen this before, I just wanted to show it. So yeah, the price went up and the oscillator went down, so that's a hidden bull. And there's a flip zone over here, and I'll have to zoom in actually down to the 4-hour, and I'll just leave that there. So I know it might even look better on the daily. You know what, let's take a look. Yeah, it's so easy to see some of these flip zones on higher time frames because what you'll have is the wicks touching a certain area and then no candle bodies closing. And that's how I identified this. When I seen the wicks, I was like, okay, there's a wick touching here, 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 and then all through here. And so I knew that if price got above this, then it was highly likely that this bull div was going to play out. I had been talking about this off and on for, I'd say, about 2 weeks. And it finally went. So one of the things that I was watching for was for the RSI to start getting above the 50, which it's way above the 50 now. It was kind of inching up, and one of the things I pointed out in my channel was how the price was going sideways, especially right here, and the RSI was climbing. And when you see that, it's like it's building strength when the price isn't doing anything but going sideways. And then that's usually when you'll see the RSI start to push up above this 50 line, because you know that if it's below the 50, it's usually trending down, and if it's above, it's trending up. So now it's also barely starting to clear this recent little high, so it's starting to have a lower time frame shift in market structure. But what really stands out to me on this, that makes me bullish on this, at least for a little while, is let's just get rid of this junk. The volume range. There's a range here. It's big. It's a very big range. And if you take like your fixed range volume profile tool and you stretch it, you'll see that for volume, there's a volume area low here and a high up here. So there's a high likelihood that Bitcoin's going to make it up here. I mean, there's strong resistance between 108 and 111, but this volume area high is at like 113.9. So this is good. I think there's a strong possibility it's going to get up here, unless it rejects here, because it could reject on this point of control. So the volume's higher up here, so that there is this chance that it could reject here. But that bull div was on a daily. That's a pretty strong bull div, and it happened before. I just like to go over this in case somebody hasn't watched my previous streams, and just kind of show you what I found, how I found it. So the same thing happened here a while ago, and there was a low with a higher low, and then like a lower low on the oscillator. It actually happened like here, and then it came down and created a regular bull div, on the RSI, on the money flow. So that same thing has happened again. And price went around, like it went sideways for around the same amount of time as it did this time. And you see, if you just kind of go over here, you'll see the same thing. And this is, showing a continuation in the trend, because a hidden bullish divergence is a continuation. And being on the daily time frame, it's pretty significant. I was pretty bearish once Bitcoin dropped below here, but there's been some news. I don't know if you guys keep up with the news. Most of you just watch the charts, and and then you're like, okay, the charts show me the news kind of thing. But I live in Australia, but I'm an American citizen, and Donald Trump went and took that Maduro guy out of Venezuela, which is good for America, because there was a lot of drugs coming in, and there's a lot of oil involved in that. So I would say, economists and people, investors will be they'll be bullish probably on the markets. It's possible. I mean, it kind of shut down Russia and China's activities in Venezuela too, like where they were giving weapons to them. Not to talk about news, but all I'm saying is there's potential for, with this kind of news, for like positive price action, despite the fact that things have been bearish. And these low time frames are looking great. The RSI is up high. The money flow is very high on the hourly. I mean, that's looking really good. So even if the money flow starts to come down on this, I mean, it can still continue to go up and print bull divs. I'm sorry, it'll keep going up while it's printing bear divs. So with this, I think 108K is a minimum of where it's going. And because it's so high on the RSI, it could drop at any time, but it is definitely trending up here. And that is going to take a while. Once the RSI is that high and the money flow is that high, it's going to take a while for it to come back down. So with that being said, I think we're going up. Bitcoin's going up. So I want to look at some stuff with EAX here, and I'm going to switch screens and pull EAX up. And on another thing here, I'll just do it this way. I want to refresh this and then just kind of see what's up. And I think some of these things are going to keep going up for a while, because stuff has been down. But it has had a little pump on Bitcoin. So let's see. So it has had, this pump. So there's a possibility for a retracement here. And I would say this next retracement is just a pullback before a continuation. And everything's starting to get pretty high on the RSI, but it's strong. And being high on the RSI doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to reverse here. So, yeah, with that being said, I'm going to be looking for stuff that dumps, because that, I think, would be where I'd be looking for something that's had a pullback, something like Pippin. It's been going up a lot. Mix even, great project. So I'm looking for stuff that's pulled back, like the stuff that's going crazy right now. I mean, you could look for entries, continuation entries, stuff bouncing off of opposing levels, and check TDIX. But I'm not going to short for a little while, because Bitcoin is now bullish. And with that being said, I'm going to look at some of these. So I'm going to look at Pippin and mix just for now. I'm going to kind of go into depth on these, and then maybe if you guys want me to pull up some coin that you're looking at, I can do that too. So Pippin and mix. And I'm going to switch back over to TradingView. Oh, I want to look at SQD as well. I saw some really interesting stuff on this one. But let's I took a little trade on this one. On Cato, it went well. I entered my entry for a long down here, and I could have took profit up here, but because it didn't go back below this downtrend, I'm still holding it and waiting. Cato is very boring to trade, but I just like the way it moves, and it's so predictable. So yeah, that's one of the trades I'm in right now, along. So Pippin and Mix, I think, are going to be really good ones. And for you guys that just joined the live stream, I have started recording this, and it'll be on my YouTube channel if you want to see anything. You didn't really miss much yet because it's still just started. I just went over Bitcoin and how I felt about that and what's going on with it. So I'm going to be looking for, let's just look at market structure first. Thanks. Pippin has, Pippin has had one killer run. And this does seem like it's reversing now. This almost looks like a head and shoulders. So I don't know if I'll be trading I don't think I'll be going long on this. I was going to look at it to see what's going on with it. Yeah, perpetual futures. So there's a major level here on Pippin. There's a really strong level here, and it's rejected it. So I'm going to wait before I even think about going long on this, because it kind of seems like the short has been missed right here. And yeah, I didn't look at this the other day, but it's been moving a lot, so you could definitely scalp it. And because it had such a killer run, I'd be looking at my TrendX and opposing levels like here, I'd say somewhere around here, because as a matter of fact, let's do it on the 4-hour. Mark that as a daily opposing. On the 4-hour, there's going to be a strong order block right here. There's probably going to be a reaction to this, but I bet you price will wick below this green line. So I'm going to watch this if I do anything with Pippin. Let's just do it like something like that, really. And it's in this case, the red candles there's 2 of them. So what I would do in that case is I'd move up a time frame, and I'm just gonna get the order block marked on the lowest time frame that I can do it on. So yeah, this whole area, really, this red candle in this zone, probably in the midline. You know what? There's even one here, too, even a double candle there. So I don't really like that. Yeah, that's perfect. This one, the daily order block, is probably best for this one. So what I would expect price to come down here at least, for a reaction, for a possible bounce. But I would not hold along on something like this that's just went up like something crazy. Like, I mean, this thing it did like 3,200%. So I would say it's going to have a big retracement, that it's going to come down lower than this, but I would say there might be a little reaction to it when it gets down in this area right here. So that's Pippin. I missed it. That would have been a good short right there if somebody had noticed the opposing level right here and price went up to it. And let's mark that as a red because that's resistance. That's strong resistance now. And then say if you got down on a lower time frame, and if you had had that marked because of the previous price action over here, oops, it's a little slow today, and so when price went under it, when it started to retrace up to it, right up here was your entry for your short. You had bear divs right into it. The RSI dropped. Really, this is so cool here. And the RSI started going below the bullish sentiment line, or the sentiment line here on the money flow. And as it approached the 50, this is usually how it goes with shorts. I mean, look at how close it got to the 50 right before it dropped. And you see that, especially right here, because I'll show you what. You could even have traded this on the 15. What you see here is, and it kept going. The price tried to come up, or the RSI tried to come up to go to cross the slow MA, and as soon as it did that little inside shark fin right there, pointing down at it immediately, you could have entered a very safe short entry right here, because the RSI had been up and above the 50 for so long, and right here it was showing weakness at a very key level, a daily opposing level. And so this would have been an ideal short. You had your bear div, and that would have been very good short right there. Even if you entered on this candle, it would have went really well. I mean, 30%, 10 hours, whatever. That's pretty good. I mean, even if you exited here, but that was the kind of thing you could hold if you've seen it come up to this weekly. I'm sure the daily shows a story too, but it rejected on there. It was below the daily, below the weekly. This is the support 3 for the weekly, so this, you would have expected a reaction here. So anyway, that's Pippin. There was a short. I didn't take it. I missed it. I didn't look at it. There's always some sort of trade with Pippin. It has been volatile. It's had a lot of volume for people trading it, and as of now, it's reversed, like I was showing on the higher time frame. It had a mega run, and now it's reversed. I mean, it kind of even looks like a head and shoulders pattern right here. Pretty nice looking. When you see these big wicks like this rejection here, that's a major giveaway that there's a key level here that's very important. So that's Pippin that I wanted to look at. And what was the other one? A moment. Oh, Mix. This one had a killer run in the past. I'll just turn off TrendX for a little bit. I mean, this thing went ballistic here. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of looking over the high time frame, and I'm looking for opposing levels. I'm looking at the money flow if I could see it. There's still a weekly fair value gap here. So this must have been the level, the daily, the one that it wanted to. You see how easy this is? When you look at the daily time frame or weekly, just kind of look at a few different time frames, high time frames, and you see price trending up or down. Go and take a look at the last, an opposite colored candle, and at the tip of it in the opposite direction of the candle body, you don't want to do the wick. So that would mean the top of this green candle here is the opposing level. And that's the level you would expect a reaction to or a reversal at. It's also an order block, and that's how you do that. That's how you find these levels where these things are where they're going to reverse at. Hey Mowgli, it's good to see you in here. And that's probably why that reversed right there. So that's how you do that. Now this reaction doesn't mean it's going to reverse. I mean, the way it has trended up for a while is, it looks, I guess you could say, organic. Because the RSI is gradually going up, and now it's above the 50. It'll probably come down, but as long as this RSI doesn't start going below the 50 line and holding, then it's still trending up. And I show that over and over, like in all my videos now. When you see that price, the RSI is holding above the 50 more than below it, you're trending up. So this could be, oh, this actually looks pretty good here. This looks like it's just a pullback, and it's going to continue up. That's my opinion. I'd say a 2-hour time frame on this one, because the 1 hour didn't give it what I was looking for. No, maybe it's the 30, because it was the 1 hour is starting to form the bull div, the hidden bull div, but it's not that clear. So what I'd maybe even go to the 30-minute, but with this, it had a strong rejection at this opposing level, but because of the way it looks, from what I can tell, there was a flip zone here too. It looks like this may continue, but because the RSI on the hourly is now below the 50, it's going to need to get above here. It's going to need to get above this money flow and get above here before it really starts trending up. But it can do that, and you can catch it when this white line crosses. But in that case, I would look at the lower time frames for more confluence, also for trend lines. Oops. So the hidden bull is still there, and some sort of breakout, I would say, because the hidden bulls don't always play out immediately, and it can come down and put in another, bullish shark fin. But it's here. It's even here. This is a strong hidden bull div on mix. I think this is going up. That's my opinion. But from here, I don't know. I mean, it can come lower. It could invalidate this one, and it could go to another time frame and maybe not invalidate that one. So to figure that out, you just kind of draw a line here. So if price comes below this hidden bull div will invalidate. I would not enter long yet. I mean, it's had its rejection on a strong daily level recently, but it's worth watching for a possible continuation. And in this case, you want to look for some bullish opposing levels or order blocks. And what was the other time frame? The hourly. Yeah, so this may be the level right here, right around here. The low here would be the one you want to see hold and not invalidate. Oops. But if price comes really close to one of these levels and it holds it, well, or doesn't go below it, like comes down here and just kind of curves a little bit, and then a little trend line forms, and maybe it'll have some couple spikes up on the way down, and it'll maybe make a trend line here somewhere, and then right around the time it's getting close to this level, it'll probably break it and then continue up. And you know, a good way to tell with mix and why I feel bullish on it is when it came down here and it started putting in a change in market structure, it was a strong one. You know, it started like breaking this high and this downtrend, and here was the bottom. So right here, when this broke this and it did this retracement here, it was a nice break. And when you see a break like that with strength and this flip zone here, which I'm going to extend it because that is, whoops, how did I do that crap? All right, there we go. These flip zones often remain valid for a long time. So this area here is, I would say, important, at least on the hourly time frame, because you see it tapping it on both sides, and then it finally breaks through with strength. I bet you the volume went up there. Yeah, nice spike, and then it got on here, and you know, just started showing a lot of strength in this reversal of this change in market structure. And then yeah, it broke all these highs, and this here is kind of important for it to break. So that's why I'm watching mix now, because that should be good. It's had a nice pullback in the uptrend, and Bitcoin's bullish, so I would watch that. There'll probably be, let's see, as a matter of fact, let's look on the daily and maybe even the weekly. Yeah, so that's that level I marked earlier. You know, what's really good about mix here is there aren't any other green candles on the way down from this. This thing could move up fast if it does get above this opposing level. It could go up here pretty fast. So there's another level here, but that would have been more so relevant to the downtrend, because that opposing level would have been on the bottom of the green candle body, and it just went right through it. It's still valid for, you know, a key level, so I'll put that there. But there's a lot of space here, and there's, you know, there's a chance for, you know, a big move, especially if one of these bull divs holds and doesn't invalidate on the lower time frame. And with this RSI being so high on the daily, it's really important to see if it goes below the sentiment line, the money flow here. So you want to watch and see, and if it barely goes below the 50 and creates a bullish shark fin, that's really, really bullish. So I kind of want to show examples of that, but just kind of relay this to the higher time frames, because it works on all time frames. Here's a good example. So when you see on TDIX that the RSI is spending a lot of time, let's say through here, it's above the 50 in this zone. And so whenever it goes below the 50 and creates a bullish shark fin, those are usually the best entries for your longs. You know, and you know, when you see this, when you see price or the RSI staying above the 50 and price trending up, and you're looking for these pullbacks here, even this divergence, when you're looking for pullbacks to enter, you also want to look for the hidden bull divs, because they tend to be killer, really killer entries. And this is what I've been getting into a lot lately, is in the trend. because I don't do reversals as much, you'll start to see these, hidden bull divs. And they're very easy to spot. It kind of goes to there. And it's really right here where this crossover occurs is the important part. And as the trend continues, you'll see these continuing to print. Like this one's kind of exaggerated, but on the RSI it's very easy to see because it works on the RSI as well. So here's your low, and then here's your low on your RSI right down here at 22, and then the low here on the RSI was 20, like 19. So that's a hidden bull div on the RSI. And you got the higher low on price. And what's happening is the price is running away. And then you have these big pullbacks. And these are your entries. And I usually wait till this area to enter when I see the crossover, the RSI crossing the money flow. Like right there, that's where I would enter on something like that. So with that being said, after looking at these, because I did find these on EAX because Bitcoin's bullish, and I was looking for stuff that's had a pullback. With that being said, I want to look at something that I didn't talk about earlier, and I did talk about this a little bit last week, and now it looks like it's starting to get ready, is SQD. This one is building up for something really interesting, and it has a major key level that's pretty high above. So on this one, this is really cool. This is a major flip zone, and as you see price putting in lower highs, and here's lower lows, and then you had like a slight change of character. Then price went below this white line, this major key level. Then, you could tell it's a sustained downtrend with the lower lows. But what's happening here, I think, is it's preparing to reverse. Like some of these, when you see a huge green candle going up on a daily, often these are fake moves. Not always, but sometimes you get fake moves. And you see how volatile it is. But when you have candles that print medium-sized candles, and it's consistently moving up, it's more organic. It's not like a fake move, because if the price moves really fast, it's often going to slingshot right back. So if you notice stuff like that, like the size of the candles, you'll see, that when you see smaller candles or medium size, it tends to show the trend better, the true trend. So this SQD has a major flip level here where prices hit it over and over and then rejected, and it's having a downtrend. It's just so easy to see these when you look for huge wicks. Like, let's see, and it's kind of it was an opposing level that it's become a flip level. I'll go back to the daily. So whenever you're looking for your key level, the first thing you do is just look at see, okay, are there any big wicks on a high time frame? And when you see a big wick, you're going to have a key level right around the candle body, and that area is going to be like the deciding line for the trend, and price will come back to it. So I think it closed one candle body above it once after it came down. I mean, it kept trying to close a candle body on the daily above it, but it couldn't, and it kept getting pushed down. See, and it even had a big wick on the bottom in that case right there. So this white line is a major level for SQD, and it couldn't even hold a second candle above and rejected. I'm sure TDIX had a bear div. So now the reason I felt kind of bullish on this one is because the lower time frames are showing a okay, so we'll look at SUI in a minute, is because these lower time frames, look at this. I mean, you've got the money flow coming up, the RSI coming up. It has been down for a while. As this downtrend occurred after this rejection of this weekly opposing, and it's trended down, and you know, each of these, well, some of these bearish shark fins were good entries for shorts, but the money flow is coming up, so it is not going to go down forever. And this has just barely, it's not a very strong break of this. But when you see a change in market structure, you want to see a strong break of a previous high or low. And it's the money flow that I'm looking at here, and it's coming up while the prices went down. And now when the prices come down, the money flow is even closer to the 50, and this is going to be a higher low, and that's a key level here, a 4-hour opposing level. So this is another key area that's kind of a flip zone. Well, it could be. I mean, it kind of was support over here. Failed. Oh, then it went above it anyway. But so this whole zone, really, this, I would say maybe I should put a rectangle there. And if I go to look a slightly higher time frame, it'll reveal it. So when in doubt, just change your time frame a little bit, and it'll help. You know, another thing to keep in mind is the most recent price action tends to be, you know, the most accurate area for your key level, because I think that the key levels can change very slightly as price changes and as trading volume comes in. So in that case, I would be looking for something like this right here. That's really it. This is perfect for it. And I would just go to the 4-hour. Yeah. So it had 3 candles, so that would be that 12-hour candle revealing. There's a strong order block here. And I'll just do the whole wicks on these because it's a 12-hour that we're trying to encompass. And this is the zone. This green line, particularly the middle of this white line area, and because there's a downtrend on SQD as it approaches this key level, with the money flow coming up, there's going to be a decision for it. Is it going to break below, or is it going to get a bounce here? And that's what I'm watching for, right? So I'm going to go down to lower time frames and start looking. And there's, you know, a hidden bull. So I am expecting a bullish continuation for this one. Just like what Bitcoin did recently. It took a while, but then it played out. So, you know, unless price comes all the way down here and invalidates this remains valid, and oops, unless price goes down here, this bull div is valid. So that's what I'm watching for on that one. And I'm watching this one like a hawk because it's been down for a while, and this is a key level. Some of my triggers for entry would be, you know, a break above this trend line, or, you know, a strong reaction to this order block opposing level area. And then, you know, for confirmation to hold it, if I get in on a long, I'm going to be making sure, you know, that this RSI is above the sentiment. And really, right as it gets here, around the 50, you know, right as it gets around here and it's crunching up, say something like that on the RSI, because like it doesn't always want to go right above it. It'll kind of fight with it for a while. See how the RSI will fight with the money flow line and have bounces on it, and also it'll fight with the 50. Like right here, it's like it couldn't get above the 50, but then here, this is a perfect example. It finally got above the 50 and then said, nope, it wasn't this curve. It wasn't the money flow that it bounced on. Right here was a killer entry. And so watch that fast MA. Because right there, it's, even if you entered on the candle after, it said, okay, it wanted to go, like it was going to go below the 50 into bearishness, but no, it went up. And so like really all this area here was a killer entry for a long in that case. But you'd have to look at a different time frame, you know, you'd have to have other confluence. But I'm just showing as an example of what could happen here if the money flow starts to go like this, you know, and then one of these guys here, one of these bottoms hit it, you know, hit it like right like that, and then it hits like on the 50. So in that time, expect the volatility to be really low and it to go sideways, like with these small candles, like maybe one big one. But there's a strong order block here, and price can come down here, play around, kind of crunch up a little bit, and then when you see this, that's what you're looking for. And then, you know, as you see the RSI staying above the 50, you know, you can hold. Oh, and since some of you guys joined late, thank you for joining, by the way. I really appreciate it. And we'll look at SUI too, because Mowgli was bringing that up, and I haven't looked at it in a long time. But I wanted to show Bitcoin really quick. See, Bitcoin was doing that where it was bouncing. It said like, nope, I'm staying in bullish sentiment right here. Like it was going to come into bearish sentiment. Nope. Now it's above the 50. It's really just starting its uptrend on the daily, just like it did over here, you know, right around here. Oops. It stayed above the 50, and as it stayed up, it kept trending upward. So now with that hidden bull div starting to play out, it's now back into the volume range, with the high being up here if it makes it through this major resistance. Let's just move TrendX because I'm not using it at the moment. And it's above this major flip zone. And oh yeah, it was the lower time frame I wanted to show you on Bitcoin. So look at this RSI. I mean, the money flow's coming up, especially the 1 hour. This is very bullish for Bitcoin. It's trending up with strength. Even if you get a dump, I mean, it's just going to print a bullish shark fin while being above the 50. That's really bullish on the hourly. Right now, Bitcoin it's looking good. The markets are doing something. Whether it's based on the news, you know, Venezuela or whatever, I don't know. But this here could come down quite a bit while the money flow is still high, going like this. I mean, this thing looks like it's going to go like that and take a while to come down. And then you could print bear divs all through here before it finally presses the RSI below the 50 again. Like, let's say it did, like it went up and it was doing all kinds of jazz, and then creates a, you know, bear div, and then it goes like this. Then you know it's over here, because that 50 line is so important with your TDIX, your RSI. So watch it. Watch that. Something like that. But that money flow on the hourly is crazy. That can pull the higher time frame money flow up and up. And look at the curvature of that, the 4-hour money flow. I mean, it would take a dump to make this curve down. I mean, this thing is, the trajectory is looking like it's going to make it up there. You know, so this is an uptrend. This is the beginning of this. I'm bullish on stuff. So that's that. That's where I stand on that. I think I showed you. I'm in a long on Cato. I think I mentioned it. I long the dumbest stuff. Some I like stuff that I don't have to like monitor much. But I went long right around here. I should have just took profit here and re-entered, but I'm lazy, and so I'm watching for it to hold above this flip zone. But I went long right here. So this is looking good. It's printing bull divs, approaching the invalidation. Oh, that was mixed. We were gonna look at SUI. Mowgli brought it up. I love doing this, Mowgli, where you know, we're looking at the same things. We haven't got to do it as much. I mean, with the holidays and everything that's happened, and now I'm on this crazy TikTok weight loss journey trying to get attention, or you know, it's been busy lately. I've been doing stuff a lot. And I met someone, and I've been spending time talking to her a lot. So SUI, I haven't looked at this in a while. Thank you. And this, you know, being that SUI is so prominent and it's been around, you really want to check these weekly time frames, the daily. Wow, look at that. There's a major wick right here, right at this order block. There's a key level here, which could be a flip zone. It's a higher time frame one, but let's see. The weekly doesn't look bullish, but we're gonna look at this because it looks kind of bearish to me. But so far, I haven't looked at SUI in a while, and I need to look at it for a while to get a good idea. This wick here, this whole area, this is an important area here. So I want to encompass, that's really good, because it encompasses this most recent order block, which is what you want. And you know, it dipped into it here, but held it. You got your wicks here, wicks here. This is a good zone. And I'm just going to make it gray. I'll do it like this. So let's just do it more recently. It's kind of rough around the edges, but it's there. All right, it looks good. So now I just want to take note and say, well, it had a run up, and now the RSI is below the 50, but something's going on here. There's another, okay, it already hit it, but check this out. There was a pretty strong order block here, and that wick tapped it. If this order, see, whenever you see a big run up or run down, and you just want to look for the last opposite color candle, mark it out. Price will probably come back to it. Look at that. I mean, with the major dump, look at you could have went and did a trade on that on a lower time frame. Just saying, you know, so you understand what you're marking, because the order blocks are basically, you know, at opposing levels, same thing pretty much. It's just that on different time frames, more candles will be present than a higher time frame. All you need is one line. but I make zones around, usually you use the 4 hour, but on something like SUI you want to use higher time frames because it has a lot more data. So this is okay, I'm still checking. You know, it does have a hidden bull on the daily, because this is the low. You would measure the money flow and RSI from here. Well, it's not on the RSI. Oh, maybe, excuse me. Let's see, is the RSI lower? It is, it is. So right here where this RSI went to 24, right here, it was very slight. It went down to 22.5. So right around here, there's a hidden bull on the RSI, and that would also be a hidden bull on the money flow. So that is bullish for this time frame, but I need to look at stuff. And you know, that's the money flow would have been measured from here because that's the bottom, and then you measure over here at the bottom. And you know, so with this hidden bull that confirmed around here, this one has a invalidation line. It's not that far away, really. This whole area, well, this, I would say, let's say here, because that would invalidate. Well, let's use the money flow on this, because let's just do it like that, and that would be where I would say if price goes below, then that means the bull div is invalidated, and it has to close a candle above that purple line to invalidate. But on the daily, it's climbing. It just started getting above the 50. When it comes back down for a retracement, you want to see what it does with the 50, depending on what this money flow does. If it can kind of come up a little bit more, and then maybe the fast MA could bounce on it or create a little bullish shark fin. So oh, this is good. This is really good here. This was a low and this was a high here, and this is clearing this high with strength. So this is having a change in market structure. The money flow's curved up nicely, which a lot of things are right now. But here is a warning for this one. A short, possible short entry coming up soon. And I'll show you why. Okay, so I see these because this is how I trade. And this will be a hidden bear. If price is going to continue into a downtrend, you know, we'll see. But it can invalidate if price gets above that line. So you want to see this high cleared. If SUI makes it above this, the retracement could be an entry for a long. But if it doesn't make it above here, you know, let's say price comes, oops, say it comes up here, you know, that right there would be a continuation in the downtrend if, you know, it did something like that or whatever. So that'd be a hidden bear. If it doesn't get above this purple line, I would short this on a lower time frame, particularly in this zone, because look at the size of that wick. There's a very key level here, right here, right in the middle, you know. So expect the reaction, whether it continues downward or just does something, you know, maybe it'll do something like this and just have a reaction and then come back up and break it. So I don't think, I mean, there's some bullish indications on high time frames like the daily, but I would be skeptical about SUI continuing upward for very long until it breaks $2.70, because it's in a downtrend, and that would be a hidden bear. I mean, even here, like, even there, like, it would be another hidden bear. So this guy, SUI's got some levels that it needs to clear. You could scalp it. You could scalp it all day into these levels, but watch these levels. And then, you know, that's how you know if it's going to continue up or whatever. So that's SUI. And price trying to find a fair value. Oh, XCN. Hey, Mowgli, thank you so much for coming. I know it's late night for you. And I really appreciate you being in here and bringing up these, because you have been crushing it, and we all want a piece of whatever it is that you've mastered, because you're able to identify your trades and take them with confidence and win consistently. I mean, it's very impressive. And you know, your ability to use the AX is just, it's top notch, Mowgli. I'm not an SMCX trader as much, but oh, look at that. Yeah, this XCN's been very interesting. I'm getting some messages. Give me just a moment to mute my phone. Okay. All right. Look at that wick. See, that's what I do every time. Whenever I'm looking at something new, I'm zooming out. I'm looking for a big wick. There's some important level here, and I'm going to try to find it. So you want to get close to the candle body, but not into it. Wow, there's so much. This is a mover. It's a consistent mover. Let me look at your chart again. You're showing it's at a level now for a potential short. It looks like you've got a fair value gap marked, and you're looking at the 15-minute. You're looking to scalp it. Let's just go down to that level because it's more relevant to what you're looking at. And I know you're using TrendX. Let's see what you got going on here. Oh yeah. And you're looking at the 15 4-hour model. Oh yeah, there's probably, let's see where you're, I want to learn how you do this. What it looks like that, Mowgli, it looks like that green level. Do you want to come on stage? You can if you want. Don't worry about it if you're not set up and it's a little too late at night for you. Okay, well, I'm gonna guess here and say you're looking at a higher time frame to get that fair value gap. Or what? No, it's not. Something going on here. Must be. Oh, it's a flip level. Oh, nice. Thank you for pointing that out. Yes, it is. And this order block is probably where it's at, or in that area. But because that's an older order block, I would want to use a more recent one. And because there's so many green candles in this zone, I want to go to a higher time frame. And I got perfect. You and Seth have been using the 3-day time frame, which I never used, and now I'm starting to use it. And look at that. Switching to the 3-day time frame revealed it just like perfectly. It condensed the multiple candles here into one green candle, and that is your bearish order block, which it's fighting with right now. And it's such a strong level. Look at how this, look at that. It even encompasses this order block for the most part. Somewhere around there. You got it. I was expecting a fair value gap, but you got it. It's a flip zone. Now we're gonna look around. Yeah, this looks good for a short. I can tell you already, and here's why. It's on a 3-day, so you want to go down at lower time frames, but look at how it's been pushing below, staying in bearish sentiment, and it finally breaks above, and the first thing it does is creating a bearish shark fin right on, really close to the 50. So what is the time? Okay, the daily candle just started, so let's look at that. Yeah, wow, Mowgli. This is nice because the daily candle just closed and the new one just started. So now you're looking for a sweep around here. Okay, blue line is monthly opposing. Nice. Okay. Thank you. Yep, I see it. I'm guessing you marked your monthly opposing on this bottom of the screen candle. And now I'm going to start going down to lower time frames and looking at money flow RSI. I'm going to get rid of SMCX for now and TrendX. I like to look at market structure. I've just looked at it so much that I don't really need much. Now it did have the bull divs coming up to build this move. For pullbacks, when you go short on this, you know, you're probably going to watch out for areas like to take profit, something like this, you know, somewhere around here. I mean, there's fair value gaps, but these are areas you could expect a bounce with the divergence, and if it's not that one, this one. Here's a nice area, but I bet you it'll probably go down further. You know, I found this too, when you see fair value gaps right by an order block, they tend to be choice. So this, for if you went short here, this is an area you would expect to bounce for sure. And what kind of that's pretty good, you know, almost around 30% drop from here, and that looks really good. Like the way it's rejecting. See, this isn't normally how I trade. Like, but I want to see, and look at that too. The RSI is so high. You know. Thank you, Mowgli, for pointing this out. The RSI is up to 94 on the 4-hour. It was up pretty high on the... Yeah, see, now that you're getting down to the lower time frames, and I'm starting to see why you would do an entry. Now the money flow is high, the RSI is high, so that even the reactions, the bearish drops from here, are big enough if you're using, you know, good leverage. So you can see the wicks forming on the hourly already at that key level, that opposing level. It looks like it wants to play with it a little more. Maybe it'll do another manipulation sweep. But this does look this looks pretty good here. Ah, oh no, not yet, not yet. Okay, I'm looking for something else. I seen this high clears this other high, so that's not a bear div right here. That's not yet. This thing may go sideways for a while, and then do another divergence and drop. I'm just guessing. We don't know. But even if it did, like, even if you could trade it from there to there, that's a killer trade. So, at some lower time frames and see. It could drop at any time, honestly, or at least have a reaction. Even if it came down like this far, it would be a nice move. Because look at this on the 5-minute. Whoops. Can you guys hear me all right? I'm guessing you can. I just kind of yanked my cable and on my headset. 66%. Yeah, so on here, this is kind of what I was showing before. Oh, great. Thank you, Shu. You had the RSI in above the 50. The trend was up, and now it's starting to get to the 50 and dip below. Right here, right now, is usually when it will drop. Now what you want to see when it starts to drop, because it looks like it's about to, unless it creates a shark fin really quick, with a quick drop. But if it kind of grinds down and it doesn't do a quick drop, then if it grinds down, it will probably come all the way down here. But if it's a quick drop, it'll probably just do a shark fin wick and come up again, and maybe put in another bear dip, because those high time frames look slightly bullish still. But even, let's get down to the degen on this guy. Like 3 minute, 1 minute. We'll go down to the seconds base time frame. Yeah, see this? This is what I'm talking about. This is why I get on this so much on TDIX. Like right here. This is a sign that it's going to continue even now, because it couldn't get into bullish sentiment on the 3 minute. But this is a 3 minute time frame. So, it's not as solid as a 15 minute. But this is a sign that it was going to say, nope, I'm going below the 50. And I'm going to trend down right now. So maybe get down on lower time frames. And that one's just not. Let's go down. Let's get to the nitty gritty on the 10-second or something. Yeah, you could have entered this. I used to never touch the seconds based intervals, like 30-second, 10-second, 5-second time frame, and I've got it. I just haven't used it. But now I'm starting to get into that more, because that's how, like, some of you other guys do it. Like Crypto Chris does it like that a lot. And with these tokens where there's a lot going on and there's a decent amount of liquidity, a lot of trading volume, you can use these second based intervals. This is a really good, this would have been a good entry right here. And even, let me see, no, not that one. This was on the 10-second. This was the first continuation of the downtrend. Hidden bear. Very slight hidden bear from here to here. It's hard to see it, but so that would have been your first sign, like, okay, it's trending down and continuing the downtrend, and then it stacked. Support on weekly opposing. Okay, I'll take a look. So there's like this is this is really degen on these 10-second time frames, but look, expect a stacked divergence, and that's exactly what you got. So you had a hidden bear, then you had a regular bear. So why I do this, you know, it gives me extra confluence. So when you have two different kinds of divergences, both bearish or bullish, you know, it's like saying, okay, well, this one, as long as price doesn't go above here, it's valid, it's trending down. You know, because this was the high, this is the lower high, and then this is like a continuation divergence. Then it tried to come up a little bit and created a regular one. And so your RSI is printing bear divs. You've got your key level here. Your key level was rejected up this other key level. So yeah, this is it's a continuation down to the downside right now. So I want to see. I'm going to go down and show you. Here's another one. No, close. Well, yeah, you know what? RSI, check it out. Right here. Really up to here even. Do you see what I'm showing you to kind of give you an idea of the direction of if there's a continuation? And that's, you know, this is an RSI hidden bear. You know, people, you might think futures trader is crazy about divergences. You know, I'm totally nuts, but this stuff works. And because I'm a continuation trader myself, mostly I look for these because they present me with entries. And this would have been sweet right here for an entry right around here. That really here. But that's late. You know, you could enter it way up here. So yeah, this is the kind of stuff I look for. And you can scalp these guys all day long with your EAX, and your volatility meter, volatility scanner is helpful to kind of get you an idea of what just started to move, and then you could check it on EAX. Let's see, what's you looking at now? Support on the weekly opposing. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. I see it. I think I see what you're showing. Yep. Right around here. Well, it's slightly below, I'd say. That would have been a weekly opposing. I'm going to make it purple. Ah, yep. So there, I see it. I see exactly what you're showing. Wow, thank you. You know, Mogi, this is really helpful because you're showing me your process as you send me these messages in the chat. So this purple line goes all the way to a weekly candle, and it's at the bottom of a green candle, and typically those act as support. And so that's how he would have known if he entered a short up here, he could have exited at this purple line. I mean, so let's get down to a lower time frame even. Look at how accurate that is, how price hits that weekly level and then has a bounce on it a couple times. Now it's below it. So you had the key levels being rejected here, and look at it moving. It's losing that last bit of support right now. It's been rejected from this order block. It's been rejected for this monthly level. It's, you know, it couldn't get above it. You know, maybe it'll have a retest. Maybe. You'll see. So this purple line is another one, and you think, well, maybe I'm late because I didn't get in up here. Well, this is pretty volatile, but this is a lower time frame. This zone, you know, it's how much percent, you know, how much percent did you miss if you enter now or if you entered here? Let's say that. Let's, because you're not going to enter blindly. You're waiting for something like a bearish retest. You know, you missed 8%. Big deal. Look at what's below. If you have a very solid entry, this is your trap. This is your confirmation. If you enter a trade like a short, Bitcoin might have a pullback. This thing might go down 30%. You could, you know, it doesn't really matter where you get in. If you're getting in on the top of the wick or, you know, some other spot, you just want it to go in your direction when you're in and get out while you're in the green. It's nice to get, you know, some of these crazy super good entries, but you really want confirmation. You want to enter with confidence. And look at that, Mowgli just brought this up, and as he talked about it, we have identified this here. He helped me to see this level, and look at that. It's not even doing a bearish retest yet. It's in bearish sentiment. It's trending down. The lower time frame RSI is dropping. So look at that, very good. I wouldn't doubt it if Mowgli took a trade on this. And that's one of the things I was pointing out earlier when I was looking at this on different time frames, is this guy right here. This is how I go for entries right here, like right there. When you see that rejection of the fast MA on the money flow, that's bearish. Same if it's above, and it would be bullish if it bounces on it. That's not a good example. Something like this. That would have been the bullish scenario. But you really want to see it touch it sometimes. It doesn't always. I knew he took the trade. Wow. So yeah, that we just did this here on the live stream. For you guys watching the recording, we had Mowgli join in the chat, and as we were looking at stuff, he pointed this out, and we looked at it together. And we'll see what happens. You know, maybe you watch this some hours later, afterwards, you watch the replay. Look and see how far this price comes down, what it does in this zone that I marked on here. But you see what Mowgli did here. You know, there's a key monthly, a key weekly. I would say if this happens, it's even presents another entry if it comes up and hits this purple line and then rejects. That could be an entry for a short right there. Or even like go up above and then wick. You know, even if the wick went all the way up here. Depends what time frame you're looking at. And it's conceivable that it could do that, because look at this, the bullishness on the 15. You know, this thing could go wild, it could go wacky, it could, you know, this, you know how crypto is, it goes up and down. Why in the hell is it not? You know, it could do some crazy stuff. That could be accumulation manipulation. We don't know, but you can trade it and get in and out, take your profit. And you know, because I say that, I'm not saying it will, it could just drop right here and go all the way down, but because of this, like how this looks, look at this, it's above the 50 and it's staying there. It's going to create a bullish shark fin here. Yup. Yeah, so Mowgli says, you know, because it did 66% gain in one day. When you look at it on the daily, or let's just look at a 4-hour. XCN did a 66% gain, and you know, I don't know, it's something crazy. So if the daily candle started around here, we can use SMCX to find the daily candle. Okay, so I think, you know what, I'll just go to the daily real quick. Yeah, so that would have been, yeah, Mowgli is right, because in one day it's went up really 75% over one day on at least my time zone. And so the RSI was high, it's going to come down. So that's Mowgli's experience, and that's what he's saying, which I would trust it. You know, it might be volatile, but it might just drop right now. I want to talk about TrendX. I meant to talk about it earlier, and I haven't. So I had questions from people about TrendX, and I want to talk about it a little bit. So hopefully you guys that had the questions have listened this long in the stream, in the replay, because the guys that asked me about TrendX were not the guys that are in the chat right now. and thank you guys for joining. I appreciate it. It's nice to have people bring stuff up to give me something to look at. So I want to look at TrendX, and what was I'm gonna go over and look at the chat again really quick. Was Neil? He was looking at Doge. I could look at any token. So I will. I want to show you something. Nice, Mowgli. I just zoomed in on his screen. You know what I'll do? I'm going to show this because this is the chat people aren't able to see. And I'm going to take a look at this. I think you should be able to see. So this is what's been going on in the chat. Mowgli's been pointing some stuff out, and he took this trade, this short I was just talking about with XCN. And these are his charts. So you know what you can do, guys, for people that are trying to find a way to be profitable and win their trades. You know, when you go into the I want to show this too, because I might make the stream a little longer. We'll see. Trade results, and when you go in here and you look at like Mowgli's trades, because a lot of people have been inactive lately during these holidays, and what I like to do is sometimes, like, I'll look at a trade that someone took, and then I'll pull this up on my chart, and then I'll look at the entry price where they entered their trade, and then I'll kind of examine, like, look at these trades he's gotten. It's killer. That's incredible. And of course he's using high leverage because he has so much experience. He has confidence from experience. But when you look at these, you can just look at the entry price on ZBT and see where he entered. And sometimes people even post it on there, like where they would have entered. Like in this one, I can't. I'd have to look on this. He entered on 05183. So you would look at, he would have entered 0518. He would have entered around here somewhere. So anyway, I want to go through something really quick because I've had multiple questions about TrendX, and this one's from Neil. So I hope you get to see the replay. And I wanted to say, Neil, you're welcome to Easy Algo. We're going to do our best to help you learn, and you know, you can become profitable It's very easy really with these tools. TrendX is one of the most powerful tools we have in this group. And, as you learn this, you're on the right step. You're taking the right steps to learn this. When the new weekly pivots come out, yes, if like your question was about would you look for a short if price went below it? And what I wanted to say is yes, you can short it when it gets below the middle pivot. You look for a short, really. You don't necessarily take the short immediately, but you look for it on lower time frames. And when you're in a short, and these are really tight, like here's the pivots, the weekly pivot, and then here's the weekly R1 or previous week high or whatever, and then there's the weekly support 1 or previous week low. The blue lines, these are often the best entries. Now you might think that it's going to go down forever because it went under the weekly, but that's not exactly how it works. Every time price gets to one of these blue levels, a support or a resistance, you need to look at your TDIX like I was showing you in here. Once you look at this, like so, it's loading slow. My internet sucks here sometimes. It's all right, I guess, but as price got down to these blue lines, I've changed the color of some of mine. It got down to the second blue line, and then it got above it. It recovered it, but it came in with the bull div, and it was in a downtrend line. And what you had here is, like, look at the next screenshot. It's a little easier. So when you have, it went bearish when it went under the weekly pivot. And by the way, mine look a little different. I don't know if it's because you had Heiken Ashi, but you were using a Heiken Ashi overlay, so it shouldn't matter. But when you are in a short, if you shorted this, say here or here, maybe you entered even here or something, wherever, but when you see a bullish shark fin close confirming, that's a sign. And especially with all these wicks, you want to be ready to exit your short on these lines. Yeah, the price might keep going, but if you exit or take some of your profit at these blue lines, you're gonna make money. And here was a double confirmation where the fast MA crossed above the money flow, the middle band. So as soon as you've seen that, it's going up. So yeah, you could have shorted here, but then when you look at TDIX, it's saying get out of your short, get out of your short. It's turning bullish. And when you have that confirmation here, and it's gotten back above these and turned them into support, that was like a wick on a higher time frame saying nope. It wanted to go down a little bit, but it was like, let's take a look at it on the chart. So we're going to look at Doge, and I want to do this. How am I doing this thing here? And let's get to the charts. Sorry it's taking so long. The technical difficulties. Here we go. Dogecoin. And he was looking at the hourly. We want TrendX. Weeklies. Let's get rid of dailies just for now. Monthly, okay. So this is what we were looking at. But he didn't, it's okay that you didn't notice that there was a downtrend here, and I seen that when I looked at it for you. And it was a breakout. So even if you entered a short on price going below this weekly pivot, you could have got out around here, break even. If you, even just by noticing the break of this trend line, I mean, right around here you could have got out. But watch for price to interact with these levels on TrendX. So yeah, it was going down, and it did go down, but the price is not going to go in the direction you want it to go forever. It went down 10% when it went below the weekly pivot, but that's why you start looking at your TDIX and other tools, and then you say, okay, the bullish shark fin, and then across in a bullish sentiment. That's what that is. When the fast MA goes above the money flow, it's turning bullish, and you had the recovery. It went up, and we want to look at the higher time frames. And this is where it's going to get interesting. I had another question about TrendX too. Okay, well in this case it didn't create a wick, but it had a bullish engulfing, and really until a candle closed below one of these TrendX lines, it's not confirmed. So sometimes this happens, sometimes you'll see a wick, but it didn't give a wick this time, so that I couldn't show you that scenario. But now what I wanted to say, Neil, if if you watch this stream, because I'll send you a message and let you know that I talked about it, your question, is not only you're looking for signs of a reversal, reaction or reversal at these TrendX levels, but you let's see something. Okay, just checking my time. You want to realize, that this that it doesn't go down forever, so you have to take your profit, and this is like one of the primo entry zones for a long. And even though the training teaches you about the pivots, entering the short when price goes below the pivot, let's see my short position. Let's say, yeah, you could enter a short, but the training will teach you to enter your short, but then take your profit at the zone, this blue line, and even made it to this one. So that's one thing you want to remember with the training videos that you're watching. I mean, this is a trade, and I know how it feels when you see people getting really nice trades in the trade result channel, and you want to get that trade and you want it to be the one and continue to go all the way down, to your support 2 or your support 3, and you want to land that killer trade and make that money. But the thing is, it's more likely that it's going to have a reaction to one of these TrendX levels. So you want to take it, you could take part of your profit here, and let's say you took 50% of your profit, and then it started to come up to here, and you're like, okay, just take the rest. It won't be as big as it would have been here or lower, but you would have made more than if it came back and you got round tripped, where it just said, oh, price is all of a sudden your profit is back up to nothing or even negative. So these on lower time frames is that's your key, and it would probably show all this data on a lower time frame, what happened here, and there was a breakout. So this here is your primo entry to enter long. These are some of the best long entries, and the best short entries would be at the top one. So like entering a long here is often very good, and you could take profit at the pivot and just take a wee little trade, but like oftentimes this happens, especially when Bitcoin's bullish. So when you let's look back, let's do a little history, since we're talking TrendX, and I've been meaning to talk about this for a long time. Let's do all. Now, many times you will see, I don't know if it'll be on this one, but a good long entry at these blue lines for that, the one below the pivot, and a good short entry for the blue lines above the pivot. So that's your R1. Like right here, you might say, oh, I want to enter a short. No, that, you know, that one got a hit. There was a longer term trend line going on here on a high time frame, this red line, which you might not have seen, but you know, these are often your entries for shorts. So look at that. That's the one with the long continuation, to where it goes down and breaks below, bearish retest on the pivot, and continues down all the way down to the support 2, week after week. So, you know, you could have kept shorting it on these areas, these highs. But that's what I wanted to show. And let's look at another one, something different. Pippin has been killer, so I want to show Pippin. Well, I think Bitcoin's going to have that retracement. This is a very good example. So check this out. Pippin it went really volatile here, but then like it came up and recovered this blue line. You don't even have to set your levels with TrendX. They just print for you automatically. Had a run up here, almost made it, then rejected. Here it hit it, rejected. This could have been a short down to the pivot. Sometimes you get a big move, you know, let's say you went short. Whoops, it's turn that off. So like this is TrendX, you know, that's a big move on a weekly. That's killer, just from the R1 to the middle of the pivot. In this case, it did go up, but you will often see, and this made it to the R2. But you see these are TrendX levels. This purple line is R2, the red one's the R3. But that's the R1, and it got above, made support, bounced on it. I mean, TrendX is like one of the best indicators ever, in my opinion. Because price always interacts with the previous highs and previous lows of days and weeks. So this would be on the weekly, it would be the previous week high or resistance level. And so you're looking for those to be flip zones. Like here, it was the previous high, and then price got above at the beginning of the week, went up, and then it got above it, went below. So watch what it does at these levels. Check your TDIX. And this is what I would say, you know, as the new weekly opens, you know, in this case, I bet you if you went to a lower time frame here, there'd be hidden bull divs, and then it just punched through. Of course, you know, your narrow weeklies and stuff. Here's an example I wanted to show you. So you don't always want to focus on the pivot as much. It's nice, but all of these TrendX levels are just so nice. Like right here, this hit key level, close the candle, you could have gotten to a long. Right up here, it tried, well actually it went way up, and then but it didn't close candles, and then it went below. So that's it. You don't want to just focus on the pivot. Look at these blue lines. They tend to be some of the best moves. So now, Pippin's right at it, at the S1. And I bet you there's some good stuff going on with this guy. Look at this. Here. That was a hidden bear, wasn't it? No. Anyway, because this is big hump. Okay, so I'm gonna look at what Mowgli's looking at. But I will be ending the stream in like 20 minutes. So I hope that answered your question, Neil. Welcome to Easy Algo. Also, oh, one other question. I'm going to check it on my other monitor. It was from Alan, and Alan asked about TrendX. He was saying, or it was just in general, how would you describe the flow up to a trade, marking out the weekly, daily highs, lows, flip zones, and anything else I might have missed? Then figure out the bias of the market and look for entries on the 1, 3, 5, and 15-minute time frames. The flow. Well, and he says, do you have a workflow? And Alan says, I can scalp using EAX and SMCX. Okay, so I'll show his question really quick here. And just kind of hopefully I answer this right, because it's a long question, and it's it kind of so here's his question. Hopefully that makes it a little easier. It's a little on my screen, it's blocking. Okay, so it's a long question, which I'll narrow it down. How do I describe the flow up to the trade of marking out the weekly, daily highs, lows, flip zones? So I kind of go over that. I would say I kind of go over that most of the time. Whenever it's really what I do during my live streams, in my opinion. I'm basically showing you stuff, but that you need to understand that we all have our own ways of trading. You know, Seth even mentions that people will develop their own style. You know, Crypto Crisp has his own style. Mowgli's got his own style. I've got my own style. You know, Organic Joe's got his own style. As you learn, you know, you learn all your basics. You know, your RSI, your TDIX, your TrendX, SMCX. In your case, Alan. Great question. Well, it's really for you to develop that style. And so if you want more knowledge of SMCX, you're going to want to go to some of the guys that specialize in that, because they, like with Mowgli and, you know, other people, and you know Alan, you might develop your own, you know, master technique, and that's why you do your back testing. But mine's different. I like to look for divergences and then look for confluence around those divergences, and I'll go into order blocks and where the RSI is on TDIX. That's my style. That, for me, that's easy. You know, and like in Mowgli's case, he's always looking at high RSI, at TrendX levels, and, you know, AMD, accumulation, manipulation, distribution areas. So, and, you know, Crypto Chris, he looks for really overbought and sold areas. He's always looking for the RSI to get way up above on the higher time frames. He's looking for liquidity on high time frames. So you have to kind of develop that yourself. See, like, that is so nice right there. I was talking about this earlier in the stream. That would have been a killer short. And it had all the signs to show that it was going to drop. Okay, so what are we going to look at now? I hope that answered your question, Alan. You're going to have to kind of develop that. Oh, I better close my long. Because now Kato is such a shit coin. Like, I've got some good trades on it, but, like, okay, I'm going off screen. I'm going to do this on my phone. Just give me a minute and take profit, and I'll just close this bastard. Some of these, they break out and then they just fail. Alright, that's good. But Kato sometimes does some good stuff, like, because I entered my long here, and I was thinking to myself, because I was out and about, I had my phone, I'm like, yes, because I entered here and it was way up here, and I was like, maybe I should close it right now. Yeah, I should have. But I was like, well, it's holding this trend line. It broke out, it bounced here, and then it had a flip zone, and now it's failing. So that was terrible. But you know, that's pretty much it. Mowgli's typing something here, but that's what I want to say. That's the most important thing. Your key levels, like Mowgli said, your key levels are prime. What's your key level? Is it your fair value gap? That's one of them. Is it your order block, your opposing levels, your TrendX levels? And TrendX is like really good. It's your training wheels. When you're riding a bike as a kid, you're learning how to ride. Your TrendX is showing you what, what's going on. So yeah, that's what you want to watch out for. This is a shit coin, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna probably delete this thing off of my watch list because it's one of those ones that gets my attention, like it might do something. But your best bet, and I'm not saying this just because Mowgli's here, but your best bet is to use this tool called EAX, and I'm going to share it on screen here. Guys, this is great. They made this for a reason, and it has a lot of data here. This is how Mowgli's really figured out how to quickly find what he's looking for. I'm finding stuff on here. It tells you, what the major coins are, the top 40 pumpers, dumpers, RSI, your swing point detection. Here in 12 minutes, the new hourly candle will open. So you really want to be here in 12 minutes and start looking if you're using SMCX. And you can check if there's a divergence. Is it at a key level? Top movers, that's what I like. So you can narrow it down and use these tools if you have them. And worst case scenario, if you don't have EAX, you can find somewhere that shows you the pumpers and dumpers, and you can pull them into your charts. You can look for divergences. You can look for pull up your TrendX and look and see if it's in proximity or close to, if price is at that key zone where something might happen. Start looking at your TDIX at those levels. What's your RSI doing? So that's what you want to do. Because if something's a pumper or a dumper, really pumpers get a lot more attention. There's a lot of people looking at these. There's a lot of people on these ones looking to trade. And there's going to be movement that you can exploit. So that's the important thing, guys, is for you to find it. Because I could piss around with Cato or something like Dogecoin all day long, but I could hop on an X, and get nothing on Cato. Or Dogecoin's okay, but as you're new, you want to trade stuff that's easier. But I could piss around all day with some coin that's not doing anything, but then I could hop onto the XCN and within minutes find a trade in minutes and be in profit. So that's why you want to know what's good to trade and what's not. And I don't know if Mowgli, you're in here. Yeah, he's got a little link for EAX access. And I'm going to go ahead and get ready to end this because I am getting here. I normally end this here soon, but I'm going to share the whatchamacallit, the EA stage. And okay, Mowgli's coming in. I'm inviting you in. But I wanted to show you something too. Guys, I want to say this has become one of my favorite things too, and it works well with EAX. And I've talked about this in some of my other ones, and I just want to say, where the hell is it right now? Volatility scanner. I know Mowgli's going to say he's going to take it away, but this can give you another early warning. Like, look at this key quantum or whatever. It's had high volume and a pump. You could get that and then look on EAX and look for it. If I saw this, I'd jump down to like a low time frame and be looking for continuation divergences. And you could scalp them all day. So Mowgli's invited. I don't know if did it let you in, Mowgli? Did you want to still join? I tried to and let you join, but it didn't. So like, I don't know if you had your microphone set up. Well, anyway, guys, if you want to learn anything, you know, just go check the announcements, and Mowgli, Seth, me, whoever else, we're gonna have sessions like Mowgli had one last night. I missed it by the time it started, but like, go to your session recordings. If you miss it, we are recording these, and then you can watch Seth's videos and Mowgli's and even some of mine on here sometimes. So Mowgli can put them on here. I can't type in this one, but you know, you can click on these and, you know, check them out. Guys, we want you to be independent. We want you to be able to do this stuff on your own. And that's what we're doing here, trying to help you learn how to do it. And I guess that what I'm saying is really for people who are watching on my YouTube channel and soon to be on my TikTok channel, which is growing. You know, if you want to join, you want to learn how to trade, we have it here. We can teach you, and we have the tools, and it's not hard, and you can do it. So with that being said, I guess I'm going to get ready and end my stream. If you guys joined late, just click on my name and go to my YouTube channel, and you'll see the recording. So thanks all. See you next time. Well, I stopped recording. Whoops. Now